All right, my fellow agents. It is I, X7, your host of Zenorama, the podcast of heroes and monsters, and also your agent of animated awesome and near awesome as this series is. It is Monday, and we will be wrapping up the complete 80s adventures of Jonny Quest. And we're going to do 4 episodes today because, just didn't want to separate them up into 2 more. But before we get too much further into it, please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. Let me know what you think about these 4 episodes, and let me know what you think about the series as a whole. Did you like it? Did you hate it? I was prepared to not like it at all, and I've quite enjoyed it. Sure, I said this last week. It's not a patch on the first one, but it could have been a lot worse. They could have been walking doctors in across the street, telling them to look both ways, something like that. Now, having said all that, let's roll. Our first episode today is The Scourge of the Skyborg. Skyborg's a pretty good name, I think. And it's a good story. This one was written by Donald F. Glut, personal friend of mine. Not that he remembers. It has been 20 plus years. 20 years. Yeah, I'd say 20 plus years. It was originally broadcast November 23rd, 1986. So this involves an old friend of Race's. So Race gets a little more involved here. There's the Quest compound. There is a new computerized autopilot called CAP. Computerized autopilot, CAP. Okay. I love how it's supposed to be futuristic, and yet they're still watching film. There is your computerized autopilot that Hard Rock brought in. There's some typical bandit nonsense. Hard Rock's carrying it because they trust him. But there is a strange crab-like, and not from I don't remember what that Space Ghost episode was with the crabs, and it's spying on them. There he is, the Skyborg, who was, and still is, because he's still semi-human, Judd Harmon, an old friend of Race's. They were probably in the service together since they both were pilots. His he's having some cybernetic issues, so apparently that's what's corrupted him, and he's trying to sell Cap to a foreign agent. And these things capture Race because he wants Race as well. He wants revenge. He's blaming Race for what happened. So you can kind of see where this is going to go. There, and it's taken over the Quest 1, lands it. So our team, I guess they have a Quest 2 or a Quest 3. They get out there to the Grand Canyon. Isn't it weird how so many villains can just build in the Grand Canyon willy-nilly without anyone ever discovering it? Well, bribes probably help, I suppose, if he's got this much money. So there he is. They have their face-to-face, and Race finally recognizes him. And he talks, that was his crash that turned him into a cyborg from it was an enemy agent or an enemy nation or some other nation that did that without his permission. So there's a little depth here, a tiny bit. Oh, don't get me wrong, it's not a lot. But there's this telephoto lens. Well, Hard Rock once again proves that he's vulnerable to electricity. So they capture them, but the kids are supposed to be, doing what they do, and off they go. That is not Doctor Zin. This probably could have been a neat little cameo for him to be responsible, but they didn't go there, and I don't blame them. Too much of Doctor Zin. Doctor Zin should be leveled out like Dr. Lovelace or Doctor Doom or the Joker in small, one story every 4 or 5 years or 3 or 4 episodes. But they've chained up Hard Rock. He's in some kind of prison, and there's what looks like an SR-70, an modified SR-71 that's got Skyborg and Dr. Quest in it. Race is in the Quest 1, so they're trying to shoot him down, proving he's the better pilot than Race. But now he's having some heart issue, or his cybernetics are having problems. He accidentally destroys Cap, which sends everything back. That missile wasn't very effective. It only, blew a hole in it instead of exploding the entire plane. Everyone gets rescued, and Race jumps in and goes to rescue his old buddy, who's now realized the error of his ways. Now everyone's friends again. He's going to turn himself in, and he zaps. He has a laser eye. And that's it. So our next episode, Temple of Gloom, which I think is a great. It's very well. I like the title. It was first broadcast, 2 months later. Yeah, 2 weeks later on December 7th, 1986. So for some reason, the November 30th episode, there was no Jonny Quest. It was probably preempted by Scooby-Doo or something. But the Temple of Gloom, so since it's, referencing the Temple of Doom from some 2 years earlier, you can tell that they're going to be in India. And what happens is, this is a gentleman. There's a peace conference between India and another country. That's the guy, probably England. And so there's always monkeys in India. And there is Haji's old teacher, Rajiv, not Rajesh, but Rajiv Kuthrapalli. And here's our villain, Debrana. I don't know. She's got a henchman, Mook, who looks suspiciously like the Toxic Avenger. Now, I don't know when the Toxic Avenger first came out. I've actually never seen one of those movies or the cartoon. That says 2023. Let's look for the 5th installment. Good Lord. A reboot of, let's see, the first one was 1984. So that is probably not coincidental that he kind of looks like him, because he's got Haji is experiencing telepathic conference calls with Rajiv. And that's the guy who wants Benton to help him, but he keeps seeing things because Debrana is making him using a machine that's causing Rajiv to send out telepathic images and making people go crazy. So there he is. I mean, it's just that's what it is. There's no, people ripping hearts out. Nobody's betrayed Shiva. Kali is not present. And there's a little bandit nonsense who runs into this giant ruby, which Haji thinks is mystical and can focus his energies better. Your obligatory tiger. So Hobbs attacks Hard Rock. That's a weird looking tiger. But I guess in Earth Hanna-Barbera, that's what tigers look like. They find the temple there, the Temple of Gloom, which is full of hollow, projectors. There he is. There's a good look at Mook. Tell me that's not the Toxic Avenger. And Debrana. I don't know how to pronounce it. Trapdoors abound. Race tries to punch Mook and fails miserably. But she's prepared for Hard Rock and drops him down there. And now she's taken over using Rajiv's telepathic power. And she brings statues to life. Haji finds the ruby and uses it. They freeze themselves, and then Hard Rock comes to the rescue. Mook goes flying off into the abyss. Yet another death in the... you don't see it, but it's obviously... the implication is that, we don't see him die, but he went flying down there and nobody went and got him. Hard Rock, the living rock sled. She's making the two ambassadors fight each other. But finally, Haji marshals all his power, and Bandit turns the thought projector up to high. They defeat her, but she's got to have her brain fried. We don't see if she survives this explosion. Finally, Rajiv says, well, this is just, candy glass, and throws it down and breaks it. So it's like, oh, Haji's like, oh, I'm good. I'm really good. There he goes. They leave him at his little hut on the water, and that's it. So our 12th episode is Creeping Unknown, which is obviously the first of the Quatermass movies. That was the name of it. The first Quatermass movie, The Creeping Unknown, over in this country. We were going to get to the Quatermass movies because they're very interesting for British movies. I really enjoy them. I'd like to see them again. So Creeping Unknown, obviously, it's not an original title, and you can't copyright a title, right? This was aired December 14th, 1986. And the Creeping Unknown, it's actually, I can see why they use the title. These two teenage people or young people went out into the swamp so they can be alone. Kissy kissy. They fall into a tiger pit, and this thing comes along and takes them away. Now we've got an Australian crocodile hunter, and he's grabbed a very dangerous snake. Let's not see what happens if he puts his thumb anywhere he shouldn't. Guess who gets eaten? Well, we don't know if he's eaten, but they're being abducted. Finally, those two also disappear, and there's the quest. I don't know what they call the quest boat. Probably the Amazon Queen. No, wait. That was the one with Turu. Should still be the M, but that was not the quest boat. That was something they hired. Now, more bandit nonsense. There's a gun that zaps the plant monster, and it works. And this guy here, Mr. Trudge, was being attacked by it. So he's like, this is what's happening. This thing has captured all of our scientists. We were working on some nonsense with plants to make them move. And there's that. So the boys go off on by themselves and run into crocodiles. And then the plant monster, Haji tries to capture it with more plants. That doesn't work. So they do the old Tarzan thing. The plant just follows them, and they get away by diving through it because the plant doesn't have, central brain cells, so it doesn't, or eyes. I mean, how does it find them, right? Off they swim, run into more crocodiles, and then they get back to tell everybody what's going on. So Benton has an electrified net or something that he thinks can capture the creeping unknown. There it is. And now it looks more like the heap. It doesn't look like the swamp thing or the man thing, but the heap, which was the original undead or plant thingy from the comic books. And if you want to read it, the original It by Theodore Sturgeon. They capture it, but it pulls Hard Rock out. He sinks to the bottom because he's made out of rock, but they get him up and back on. But they find a sample. Well, Benton does, but then Trudge accidentally drops it. Oops, Butterfingers. Now you'll look, if you noticed, he's been wearing, he's not wearing gloves there. That's probably just a coloration there. He's supposed to be wearing gloves because there's more bandit tomfoolery. The kids in Hard Rock are sent outside. They find more of the plant and where the plant is. And there it is. Hard Rock gets captured, but he saves the kids. Well, he doesn't. But now you see Trudge, and he's got his gloves back on. He's in league with the plant. And the plant needs more human energy or something. And he's part plant now because it's taking over him, but it's let him live so he can get more people. But Hard Rock breaks free. And they confront him, and he actually save him. So he tells them what's going on. The plants, run amok from a previous experiment, but it's vulnerable. It doesn't like the light of day. It's just around the corner to the light of day. So they fry it, a la the original thing from another world. Because, they fried the other one. Well, everything. Every time the thing is in a movie, and I don't mean Benjamin, Mama Grimm's Bashful Benji. And apparently they've saved everyone. So they've saved everyone because only bad guys die. But they think some of it survived, and guess who it is? Dumbass Bandit. So there's our 12th episode. Finally, we get to Skullduggery. This is the 13th and final episode. It wasn't broadcast until March 1st, 1987, so December, 2.5 months later. And probably in syndication, you'd never know when you were going to get it. I saw a couple of these, one of them anyway, one with Hard Rock, and I was not inclined. This was in the early 90s, so I don't know what it was on. Maybe USA? I don't know. And we're going to England. And there's a Mayan Indian, because Maya Indian. Yes, Maya was in South America or Mexico. Sorry. But they're there. There are the faceless giants, or the faceless death, not faceless men. And there's a crystal skull. Long before there was a Indiana Jones and the Mystery of the whatever that Crystal Skull movie I've never seen is. But there's your Crystal Skull, because there's, Crystal Skull's been found places. I don't delve into that because I just don't care. But this one, maybe it's a skull of Miragonda. No, not Miragonda. In the Phantom movie from 1996, Fantime, David. That was the skull of. I'll tell you what it was here in a moment. I love that movie, and I should know better. Come on. Let's see. It's one of the three skulls. Miragonda was a completely different thing. No, Kai Singh, quills, three skulls. Nope. Taganda. There we go. Four skulls of Taganda. Anyway, predates that, but it has a similar purplish effect now. But it's got Celtic, though Benton says Celtic. Sorry, guys. Celtic runes on it, so it's somewhere not from South America or any place like that, or Africa. The Black Knight shows up. Skull floats around. Everyone's scared. The Black Knight gets crumpled, but and it was just a flesh wound. I did like their little car there with the bubble on the side. We don't know why, but the lab's been ransacked, and then we've got Angus McWhirter or somebody like that. Obviously, he's Irish, so because he's got red hair, he manages to catch Race by surprise. Johnny peers through there, and they find out Dr. Zin's behind it again. And Bandit gets threatened, which, this Bandit's just slightly more annoying than the other one. And Race has got a tracker, and there they go. Off they go to rescue everything. Of course, the kids wander off, and there's Zin with his skull. Yeah, see, there's the knight trying to give a flesh wound to Hard Rock, but he gets his head knocked off because, again, 'tis just a flesh wound. Benton's going to get sacrificed. Everyone's on an air sled. I mean, that air sled has some power to hoist up 3,000 pounds of Hard Rock. The Zappies starts from the Crystal Skull. Hard Rock destroys it. Kaboom! Well, he stops it anyway. Kaboom! Because it's a doomsday machine rather than a world-conquering machine. Zin gets away, brags, and that's it. There's how all the episodes end now with Hanna-Barbera, but I thought that was fun. Tomorrow we will be watching another cartoon, which I also thought was quite fun, and it will answer a certain question that one Sheldon Lee Cooper asked to his mates at one point in time. So, my fellow agents, that's Jonny Quest. We will be visiting an Image Comics superhero, which will be fun because I don't know a lot. I've only read a couple of the comics, never seen the cartoon. It'll be interesting. That'll start next week. Oh, I should have started the music. There we go. And until our next assignment, this is X7 signing off and phasing out.
It all happened so fast. We have to stop them, Batman.
Whatever they are, they're going to regret stepping foot in Gotham.
This is a big score, gentlemen. It's the Bat! Fire! Fire!
Do I look like a friggin' bat to you?
Huh?
I've read rumors about a supernatural bat creature in Gotham, but I assumed it was an urban legend.
Ninja Turtles.
We came to Gotham to stop Shredder and the Foot Clan.
The man who'll help us destroy this city is right behind this door.
Oh, come on!
Robin, Batgirl. These inmates were the deadliest criminals in all of Gotham. Let's move.
It's time for this city to destroy itself.
Take him down. We need answers.
You're welcome to try.
Think fast. He thought too fast.
We're not your enemy.
This is still my city.
If they're ready for a fight, we bring them a freaking fight. You are no match for me.